Well, hi there, boys and girls. How are we today? Fish Room Fever. James, good to see you. Hat Trick Farm, Psychedelic, Lumpy Dog, Father Fish is here, and Lee Wilcox. Hey, Lee, nice to see you. Oh, so, how's everybody today? I was up half the night. I'm not feeling particularly tired, though. I did finally get an hour or so sleep, kind of at the end of the night. I slept from 5 to 7 and thought it was 8. So I got up at 7, got something to eat. So I'm feeling okay. My eyes are burning a little, but otherwise okay. So good to be with you all. And we'll be on this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So look forward to that. And we will take a look at some of the tanks that we've been setting up in videos, which will include the saltwater tank, which I've not looked at yet this morning. So I'm hoping that's going to be in decent condition. Lee, you are incorrigible. You do know that. Roe would not be live unless it were the end of my live stream. Right? You silly. Jordanella, hello, hello. Yeah, normally I do real well. I got up about 3, laid in bed for an hour and gave it up. So I stayed up for another 2 hours watching stupid YouTube stuff. I've been watching crime things lately. A site that depicts murderers confessing. Strange. There was a little 5.5-year-old last night on. Scary stuff. Maybe just way upset. Bill Wett. How are you, Bill? Garbo. Hello, Garbo. J. Rowe. Roxanne. Lee is loving me to bits, and I'm sitting here wondering which bits. Lumpy Dog. I'm struggling with some hair algae in 4 tanks that have recently doubled the depth of the pea gravel substrate. A bit out of balance. I'll get it figured out. But dang, that tub of algae grows fast. Yeah, it does. I'll tell you what you ought to do, Lumpy. You need an inch of sand. And what you can do is, since you really like the look of the pea gravel, and I do too, I think the pea gravel looks really cool. Put a 1/2 inch of sand on it and then use your chopstick or the end of your net and kind of swirl it to get the sand down into the pea gravel. It'll completely disappear. Get about 1 inch in there. You've got probably 2 inches of pea gravel or more. Get 1 inch of sand in with it, and it'll resolve that issue. The problem you're having is too much nitrate is bleeding up into the water column, and the sand will prevent that. You can overcome the look of sand and still benefit from its presence by doing as I suggested, putting it in a little bit at a time and kind of stirring it because it'll to get it to sink down into the pea gravel. All of your naughty bits. I see. Wilcox, you are encouraged. But then you knew that. You knew that from the beginning. And you fooled us. You tricked us. You played with us, played with our sympathies and with our desire to be helpful and friendly. You toyed with us. And look now where you got us in your evil grasp. Ha, ha, ha. Well, never let it be said that Father Fish is anyone's dupe. What's that? What do you say? The cat's talking to me. Oh dear. Jordanella is on her way. Ha! Have a nice day, Jordanella. Good morning, Logans. J. Rowe. Have a little bit of bright green algae growing on the driftwood in my 10-gallon tank. Not too much, but it has little tiny bubbles coming up. Is that oxygen? Yeah, probably. That bright green algae, if it's the same stuff I think it is like a fur that grows on driftwood that'll stay on there long term. It's really quite nice. Good morning, Dwight Foote. Lee says I win. Oh, I ain't gonna accept that easily. No, you can't do that to me. No, Lee, I don't win like that. You don't just surrender. I know better. You're a trickster. That's what it is. Lee Wilcox is a trickster. Gandalf knows. Gandalf knows all. Good morning, Marky. 0306. Nice to see you. Dwight, you ran H2O. You did what? Oh, water tests. Okay. You ran water. I thought you were testing for water. Didn't get that right away. All right. You did water tests. So how'd it come out? Explain it to us. Tell us what you found, Dwight. Oh. Thank you, Fish Room Fever. Our mod for the day. I appreciate it. Monage. Happy to see you. Hello to you. I ran H2O test yesterday. Results were good, but not 130 ppm. That ain't bad. 130 ppm is hardly a problem. What is the issue? J. Rowe, and we're not. Lee, I put my sand in months after I set the soil to plant and tank. I did it slowly. The water became cloudy but clear overnight. Results have been amazing. Living proof. I did make mistakes after. Yeah, I remember Early on, when Lee first showed me his tank, he had already figured out to use dirt and had really quite a nice tank. When he capped it with sand, it pulled everything immediately into balance. So it's been really quite an extraordinary tank since then. You know, a few minor issues, but he's been able to keep it going with the maximum of effectiveness and success, and has not, as of this date, has not put food in his tanks in how many days, Lee? Like 8 weeks or something. Lumpy dog, I like this sand idea. I never thought about the green hair algae eating the nitrates leaching from the substrate before the stem plants get them. These tanks struggle to maintain enough NO3 in the water. Okay. Oh, come on. Eight weeks now. Dwight said I thought anything above 40 ppm was too high. Oh, 40 ppm would be soft. 100 and would you say 50, 60? That's still moderate, a moderate count. Um, Most of it's with deep wells are running 250 and above. So Minaj is saying 130 is too low. Well, in many cases, that's right. It really is. Um, yeah, I would not worry about if you've got 40. I would frankly want to try to get it up a little. Depends on what kind of fish you've got. Um, Lost track. What were your nitrates? Tanks struggle to maintain enough nitrate in the water. Um, well, not really. Um, you're probably succeeding in keeping it down. Um, and you really want to keep it down as far as you can. With that's again a benefit of the sand is to keep nitrates, primarily nitrates, because they they're the one thing that tends to build up. They can build up to the point where you're running extremely high nitrates before fish are really affected by it. But it does provide a foundation for for algae. So it's the sand bed precludes a lot of that. And the more plants you have, the more you're going to be able to control it. Feel like I'm not being real clear here. Let me try to catch up. Jay has daces and mini crayfish. The crayfish could tolerate a higher ppm. Dace, dace are more, well, they're a creek fish, so running water fish. So they're going to tend to be happier in softer water, um, rainwater, spring water, surface water. Logan's zero point 0.5 nitrate, that's pretty good. 0.5 nitrate, zero nitrates. Yeah, I'd be a little concerned about the nitrites. 0.50 is not bad, but you really should not have any at all. Tell me a little about your substrate, how you have it set up, and how long the tank has been set up, Logan's. Lee says my hobbit name is Ivy Chubb. A Bagginses, are you? You're a Bagginses. You must be. Who are you? Bilbo's uncle, nephew, niece? I don't know who Ivy is. A Bagginses. A Bagginses and a Chubbs. And you're Ivy. I see. Well, I never heard of you in my part of the village. But then I don't know all of the hobbits. I only know a few. I know a few. I know Bilbo. I know Frodo. I know a few. They are a happy lot, those hobbitses. A happy lot. The chair, well, what do you think? Can you see it? It's firm. The chair, who said that? Sam Dam. The chair is very firm. It's going to take some getting used to. The other issue is it has these kind of lumps on the side. And if I sit back wrong, I got a lump in my back. So I've got to sit just right in it. I like the headrest. It's got nice balance. I'm going to get used to it. For the money, I better get used to it. Any growth in the sub count? No, it's really funny about the sub count, Sam. This for this entire month. I started out the month at let me at uh, 40 4,200 4,200 about 10. I have lost well over 50 and increased about 15. So my total my total net gain is 15, but I've actually had at least 65 new subscribers this month. It just doesn't show up in the count because so many have been taken away. And I can only assume that those were false anyway. Um, James thought it would stop after a week or two, but it's going on and on and on and on. It's been going on now every day almost for golly for for a month. Let me show you. Analytics. Let me show you the page. It's really kind of extraordinary. Oh, well, fiddlesticks. I'm, I'm doing analytics on this screen. I really didn't want to do that. While I'm here, can I do monetization? I don't think I can. Got to do it. James, can I do can I monetize a live stream while it's a live stream, or does it have to be done afterwards? I tried doing it automatically, and that didn't work. I'm missing some pretty cool stuff here. Backing up a bit. Lord. Gee whiz, I've missed about 50 comments. Lumpy Dog just sent Lee to the corner. All right, I finally got back to something I recognize. So Lee is saying his hobby name is Ivy Chub Baggins. Jay Rowe. I feed them a little bit of flake food every other day, and they graze on the algae and clean up the bottom in between feedings. You might try a modification of Lee's system and feed maybe once a week. Also feed crab cuisine. So they're pretty well fed. Hello, Akil. Lee, forgot to hit like. Hit like, Lee says. J. Rowe, hi, Akil. Thunder, good morning, all. Father Fish, how's the new chair? It's kind of cool. I guess I'll get used to it. Big J's Fish Keeper. Hi, Big J. Lumpy Dog. Lee's Aquatics. Go sit in the corner for 2 minutes and think about that like button press you just did. LOL. Menage. Normal tap water we get is about 1,000 ppm. Like, yikes. Wow. Liquid stone. That's pretty stiff. You probably could keep saltwater fish in it. Wow. Yeah, saltwater is, saltwater fish will live in 15. Mercy. That's amazing. Peplin Creek. Good morning, kind of early for you. So, Big J. Paul C. Adding sand across coral. Work well and looks good. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. Lee, think you go out buying a water test kit. I'm just worried it may make me panic and mess if something shows out of balance. Lee, the only thing you need to test is the pH. Buying a pH test kit. And try to keep your pH above 7. Everything else, ignore. Menage, Artifish, he can add some calcium to get higher TDS. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Calcium and carbon also helps. You want to get carbonates up. Carbonates help stabilize pH. Petroman breeds his discus in 50. It's a pretty soft water. My RO system is cranking it out at 35, which is a little high. I'm wondering why. Normally it's below 10. We just put new cartridges in, and it's registering 35. So I got to figure out why. It should be better than that. Garbo, would you recommend breeding tetras outside? Yes, absolutely. I've been wanting to set up a few tubs with them, but I only have guppies outside right now. Garbo, you will love having tetras outside. Their colors will intensify. If you've got plenty of plants growing in it, they will breed. They'll be able to eat uh, natural live food, which will cause them to be much more vigorous and spawn uh, more quickly and more easily. So, yeah, I highly recommend it so long as the weather stays. I'm going to say, so long as the weather stays warm. Dwight Foot, my bedded tank is running CP 7 parts per million NO3. Oh, 7 NO3. What should I add? Don't worry about it. You're fine. Uh, I'm confused by what you've written, Dwight. Is the water, is the hardness of the water 7 ppm, or is your NO3 registering 7? Clarify that for me. Lee, Lumpy Dog, doing it now, head dog with Shane. Sure he is. Sure he is. Lumpy Dog, ha ha ha. Right, I'm with you, Lumpy. Akil, thick sand bed worked perfectly fine. For me, the water is super clear. It does, in fact, and it really does clear the water. It gets the tiniest particulate matter out of the water. So it becomes crystalline clear with sand. Um, Water can look hazy if it has particulate matter that's down into the micron level, like 50, 100, 200 microns. And that the sand will take that out because it'll dissipate into it and not escape back out of it. Petroman, I keep my nitrates below 5 pps with 4-inch sand beds and water changes using RODI. Yeah, you would have to. Nitrates are always going to be a little. Anything under 100 is acceptable unless you're breeding something that really doesn't want any hardness at all. Nitrate is not a killer, so it's really not gonna be dangerous. It only becomes problematic when it gets extremely high. Pepling Creek is listing get gills. Thank you. Logan's on my quarantine tank. Ammonia 0.5, nitrate 0, nitrate 0. You should not have any ammonia at all. That should be broken down. What do you have? That's in your quarantine tank. What do you have in the substrate? And do you have live plants in your quarantine tank? That can be very helpful. Generally, quarantine tanks are bare bottom. I tend to prefer bare bottom quarantine simply because it's water in, water out. I tend to do quarantine with a lot of new water. But if you're getting ammonia, add some plants to it. That should pull it out. Mountaintop fish. Hello, hello. J Rowe, we have 20 watching and 20 likes. I get 34 watching and 28 likes. Oh. Lee says, I am the Baggins that none of them talk to anymore. I don't know why. I do. I know why. I knew perfectly well why. Because you're just you're the kind of Baggins that plays pranks all the time. You're a prankster. I think I said that before. And hobbits that are pranksters are frowned upon by the seniors of the hobbit community. I want you to know. But you already know. And my sense is you really don't care because you'd rather just kind of tweak their noses, wouldn't you, Ivy Bagginses? Dang Tanks, hi there. Nice to see you. Garbo, how long has the tank been set up, Logans? Might not be cycled. I do a 25% water change and add more plants. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, Garbo. Good advice. A few days. Right, so it's still cycling. Well, that makes sense. That's why you've got ammonia. Garbo's advice is good. Add some more plants. Lumpy dog. Sounds like Logan never had good cycle, lost cycle, or had mini cycle. No, it just new. Some meds can easily do this in quarantine that frequently have minimal substrate and filtering. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Quarantine tanks need to be new water tanks. And you need typically to not to feed in a quarantine tank. What you're looking for is anything happening to the fish that is untoward. Any kind of injury, malformation, any kind of sickness, disease, anything that would cause you to hesitate about putting the fish in your aquarium. To do that, you're better off putting the fish in new water with no chlorine, of course, a new water tank, and not feeding it. Because feeding it is going to kick up the ammonia, it creates waste, and it complicates things. It can cause the bacteria growth, which you want to avoid. If you're leaving that fish in that quarantine tank for a week to 2 weeks, unless it is badly starved, you really don't want to feed it. You can tell if it's badly starved. It'll have its stomach will be caved in. If it's caved in, then don't quarantine it. Get it in a tank with a lot of waste material from other fish. Let me explain this because this is important. If you have a fish that has hollow belly that you just get in, not one that has developed that condition in your tank, but a new fish that has just come in. Very often, Plecostomus, for example, will come in with hollow belly. They've been starved for weeks or maybe months. And what has happened is the the biology, the bacteria in the gut has died. And so it doesn't matter how much food you feed them, they can't process it. So here's what you do. You put them in a tank with fish poop in it, with mold, with waste from other fish. That contains the gut bacteria that they need in order to reestablish their digestive process. Very important stuff. Putting them in a bare, sterile tank is not going to help. In that event, in that condition, they've got to have the flora in their gut reestablished. Dank tanks. Ah, just look down to a dart frog hopping across my living room. Whoops. LOL. I guess that tank needs a new door hinge. Oh dear. No casualties, and I've got 3 cats. All is good. What kind of dart frog, Dank? I love dart frogs. I have no dart frogs right now. I've got a wonderful system set up that I would like to put dart frogs in it, but they can't swim, and the bottom of it is a pool. So I need to set something else up that is not suspended over a body of water, because dart frogs can't swim. They drown. Love dart frogs. J-Row. Hi, Peplin. Lumpy Dog. Tank Tanks. Uh-oh. Logan's. I don't get paid till tomorrow. Well, that's back to something. Whatever. Logan's. I know the tank isn't cycled yet. Right. I wouldn't worry about cycling if you're using the tank as a quarantine tank. It does not need to be It does not need to be cycled. Cycling simply means that you are creating nitrifying bacteria in order to burn off the ammonia, right? So what you want to do in a quarantine tank is not have any ammonia. And the way you do that is you do not feed the fish. You put no food in it. Your goal is not to get the fish fed. You can do that in your aquarium. Your goal with quarantine is very limited. You want to determine whether the fish is healthy or not. Typically, you can do that in a week. Rarely does it take longer. If you find the fish is sick, then you need to treat it or move it. If it's treatable, you treat it. If it's not treatable and is not something that's going to infect your other fish, you can keep it or dispose of it. You can put it in your tank if it's an injury, for example, and the injury is healed or relatively healed, and the fish is managing to get along. You can decide whether you want to keep that in your tank. But as a matter of course, you do not want to feed quarantined fish. It complicates matters. It creates excess ammonia. It makes it impossible to determine whether the fish really has a problem or whether you're creating a problem for the fish. Hope that clarifies. Dwight Foote, will adding 4 ember tetras to the betta tank automatically push the nitrate up? No, not just adding fish. Feeding them will. So you want to feed very sparingly. And what I would recommend, since you've got bettas in there, is find some live food or frozen food that you can feed them so that the food itself in its uneaten state is not going to generate ammonia. If you can do Daphne, blackworms, scuds, anything like that, frozen bloodworms, frozen brine shrimp, live brine shrimp. Live baby brine is perfect for bettas as well as little tetras. Try to come up with a way to feed live food. It's going to control things much, much better. Peplin Creek says, hello, J. Rowe. Ha! Thunder. Like Pavlov's dog, we are trained well. Amen, Thunder. Your fish do train you. Do not let them do that. Do not let them train you. You must train them. And what you want to train them to do is find food rather than sit around waiting for you to put it in. Paul C. Does filling up plants an inch affect them? Yes, it does. And the way it affects them is all plant roots have cilia. Cilia are the little tiny hairs that grow on the root. And those cilia are actually what takes in the nutrition. When you pull them up, you break off or otherwise disturb or strip the cilia. Now, in truth, they grow back in a day. They grow back very quickly. So it's not a permanent thing. But yes, it does affect them and it does damage them, but not in a way that is going to kill the plant or cause the plant grievous injury. Hope that helps. Carver wants to know how big Dwight's tank is. And Logan says, I only have 7 sons. I thought I saw that earlier. All right, everybody. Let's bomb Logan's. Everybody bomb Logan's. Get his sub rate up here a little bit. Let's see. Let's go do it. Logan's Aquatics. Well, I get Logan Aquatic with a C, and I get Logan Aquatic Center. Logan, I do not get LOGANZAQUATIX. I don't get that. It doesn't come up. Why is that, Logan's? Saying it could be the YouTube algorithm. It could also be that you're not showing up on YouTube because I just tried to pull you up under the spelling that you provided and it ain't there. Oh, wait a minute. I got it. Didn't come up in the the down list, but I've got it. And I am now subscribed and have rung the bell. You've got 11 subscribers and 14 videos. So we're getting on you, buddy. Getting on you there. Lumpy dog. Jumped vastly ahead here again. Oh dear. What in the world? God, I've gone back 50 items and still not. Mercy. What is this? Am I in a different stream? Top chat. I thought it was on live chat. Mercy, days. I'm way behind. Oh, Thunder Aquatics. Found some info on Utah ice. It is selenite. I'll write that down. Selenite. Controversial whether good in aquarium or not. Interesting. Well, I don't know what's going on here. I seem to have lost a whole bunch of stuff. Live chat, top chat goes back further. I am so far behind. I ain't never going to catch up. What in the world? Well, I'm back to Thunder Aquatics. There's no timestamp. That would be helpful. Let me go over to StreamYard. Juan Chandler is here. Hello, hello. Carbo. Mercy. Lee's saying, I've not performed the 25% water change. Having finished the medication, what should I do? You should do the 25% water change, is what you should do. And tell your alter ego there the same thing. Cassie B, I don't think he'd, I can't do this backwards. Good grief. All right, I'm back to something I was at. So we'll go forward from there. Lumpy Dog. Logan's. Okay, Dart Frog, Ember Tetris. Here we go. Thunder's talking about Pavlov's dog. Paul C. Pulling up plants. Lumpy Dog. YouTube periodically purges old account subs that are inactive. Well, they're purging a lot of mine. I'm here to tell you. Dank Tanks. FYI, don't feed cauliflower in the fish room. Your house will stink. No cauliflower. Lumpy Dog. Nice morning you're having, Dang. Jay, 27 watchers, 23 likes. To do. Lumpy Dog Peplin Creek is posting Logan's channel. Tanks. Anyone know when the dollar per gallon ends? I have it constantly. I sell all my tanks $1 a gallon. Of course, they're all used tanks, but nevertheless. Molson 2889. Hi, Father Fish, and good morning. Do you dose anything into your planted tanks? I recently cut my dosing in half, and my plants are still doing well. So, do we even need to dose? I was having a conversation with one of my customers yesterday about dosing. She had been dosing um, every week for her plants. First of all, no, I do not dose. Secondly, I do not recommend dosing liquid into the water column. If you want to dose, use something like Osmocote, put it in ice cubes, and stick it down in the dirt. You want to keep it out of the water column. Uh, you can do that to also supplement the soil in your dirted tank. But no, I do not believe that dosing liquid fertilizers into your tank is a particularly healthy thing to do, unless you've got a lot of plants that derive their nutrition from the water column, like rootless plants. JN just popped in to say, hi, can't stay long. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, JN. Aquarium, Peplin. Logan's, you're welcome. Logan's. I don't know the hardness of the water in Charlotte County. It's about 250, about 250 ppm. Logan's. Cassie B, I don't think he does because he doesn't like extra nutrients in this water. Well, that's it. To J and Aquarium. Manaj, you are against using RO water. So do you agree we add RO water so we have lower overall TDS? Okay. You got me. You got me. Here's the problem with RO water. The problem with RO water is the lack of carbonates. A lack of carbonates makes it impossible for the water to maintain a stable pH. So, carbonates are critical. So, no, I don't recommend CO2. I don't recommend God, my brain's gone. RO water. I don't recommend RO water. Should you use it in order to keep the hardness from going up? It's a reasonable thing to do if you're replacing for evaporation. It is a reasonable thing to do. I do it in some cases. I do it, for example, in my discus tank. Where else do I do it? All my salt water. And with the discus, I don't do it in much else. Well, it's not a bad thing to do. keep track of your pH and make sure it's not changing. Carbonates can have a way of being used up by plants and the like. So while you can for carbonates very easily, you can tell pretty quick if you're having a carbonate problem. If you are, add some sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. That adds carbonates to the water and it keeps the pH stable. So that works. JN, we did that. We did that. We did Menage. Logan's. My pH is generally neutral. Interesting. I like pH a little higher than neutral. But if you're fishing fine and that's your water and you can maintain it stably, that's fine. Hey, Rhett. Thunder's comment on Utah ice. I need to examine that issue. I want to try to run through here as quickly as I can to try to get caught up. Thunder Aquatics. There's only one mine for it, and people steal the rock from the mine, hurting the family that owns it. Huh. Selenite. Are they selling it? Do you know? I'll be mindful of that if I come across a way to buy it. Cassie B. Tested GH and KH in all of my new jar aquariums and established. Also tested well water. Can I send you a picture of the results? Absolutely. Cass CB, send it to fatherfish at fatherfish.net. Somebody want to post that for me? Fatherfish at fatherfish.net. What is phosphate? I never understand how it works. Yeah, me too. I don't understand how it works either, except it loves algae. Do. Let's see. Phosphate in aquarium. You know what I need to do here? I need to get the screen share up so you can look at what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Phosphates in a reef tank. Phosphate removal. Phosphate in aquarium water. Well, that didn't help. Let's back up. Phosphates in aquarium water. Visit site. I guess this is something else we're gonna have to work on. I don't. I've had phosphate issues in saltwater tanks. I don't know that I have in freshwater tanks. And if I do, it's in the substrate. And I think that tends to be kind of the issue. A deep substrate will preclude such things having a major impact on the water column. That was Mr. D. Gent asking an imponderable question. Logan's talking about cycling. Good morning, JH Aquatics. Garbo. Mr. Gent, it's basically a waste product from things decomposing in the aquarium. Plants and algae use it as a nutrient. No harm to fish, though. Yeah, it does. In the water column, it does tend to create an algae issue. But again, a deep substrate is going to allow it to precipitate down into the substrate where it'll be taken up as a nutrient. Thank you, Garbo. Very helpful. Logan's. His tank's 20 with a 240 GPH return pump. So you're getting a lot of flow. Jennifer Martin set up a 10-gallon dirted plant and a few weeks back. No fish in it yet. Brown algae is developed. Is this normal? Will it die back? Yes, it's normal. Yes, it'll die back. Add fish. Put a couple of fish in there. You're long overdue. Not a lot, just a few. And you can add a couple each week if you want. But you're ready for some fish. Phosphate booster. If it's a liquid, don't fool with it. If you can get it into the substrate, then give it a shot. You probably don't need it. Jennifer, we did that. Jen, Lee, Rhett, we're not supposed to be meeting here anymore. Ro will find out, and then it's all over. Well, I'm glad you said something because I'm going to make sure Ro does find out. Lee, and Rhett too, for that matter. She will. She'll know. She's intuitive that way. She knows. You'll see. Carbo. The algae should go away in a week. Do we need to... where's Carbo here? I need to get down here a ways. Oh, okay. We're good. We go back over where I was. Logan's using an inline UV sterilizer in the quarantine tank. That's fine. Can't hurt a thing. C Million, good morning. Nice to see you, C Million. Any experience setting up a home sediment or RO filtration system to bring down water hardness? Well, I use RO. I've got a big RO system. I've never used a sediment system for doing that. I do use RO water. But I use it primarily for my saltwater and for those tanks that I maintain a low pH in or a low hardness in. Cassie B says to Jennifer, I still get brown algae. If you leave it long enough, it turns green. You can get nearite snails to clean it up. They do a good job. They do indeed, and I do have nearites. I've got lots of them, and they're pretty inexpensive. Let's see, Roxanne, I look forward to having coffee and watching you every morning. I have home health nurses coming because I was recently in the hospital, and they always say, watching Father Fish again? Nice. Nice, Roseanne. Good to have you with us. Oh, Logan says I should be Godfather Fish. Funny. Put them in quarantine and add a healthy fish. Psychedelic. Well, that's an interesting suggestion. If you think you got a sick fish, put a healthy one in with it and see what happens. Well, you certainly can do that. I've never done that. But now that you mention it, I might do that. I would do that more as an experimental procedure to determine the infectious rate of whatever it is that's going on, or if indeed there is one. Curiouser and curious. You have a strange mind, psychedelic. Logan's full of knowledge. Ah, yeah, it just kind of drips in. A lot of it's worthless. Where are we? Howard. Hello, hello. J. Raw. That's like probiotics for your fish. Ha ha. Used to have a crab that would get out of its tank and follow me around. That's funny. That's funny. You must smell like a fish. Had a crab follow you around. I've seen him run from me. I've had him run from me. I've had him get out and scoot away. Never had him follow me. Now, Lee, over the past 24 hours, I've become an expert on fish poop. Just ask Sir Father Fish. He's right again. Feed that fish poop. Well, there it is. I mean, that really is a very significant issue. It keeps the flora flourishing. And we all want flourishing flora, don't we? Particularly in our fish. Juan Chander, good evening from Delhi, India. Nice to see you, Bhuwan. Peplin, Logans, thank you for your service. Lauren Ashley, hi. Howard Gui, good evening, Bhuwan. Morning here in Tennessee. Lee loves Delhi and loves India. Lee is a world traveler, I want you to know. WS Discus, good morning. J. Rowe, has anybody ever seen the Reef Pi Aquarium? It's a reef tank controlled by a Raspberry Pi, a single board computer, which simulates weather in real time, among other functions. You mean the lighting system? Yeah, I've seen it. I've had it. I've used it. I have friends who have used it. It's fun. It's gimmicky, and my experience is it doesn't hold up. It's got faulty electronics. It's a little too complicated for its own good, I think. Now, that was a few years ago. If it's still in production, I hope they've improved it. The one I had and that my friend who has a reef farm had lasted about 6 months. It was cute and fun for a while. Oh, J Row, it's on YouTube. Something. Logan's got a water test the 125 Thunder. I like that the vast majority of info here is natural. I really do not hear use this medicine or that medicine. Organic. Oh, that's right. That's really where we're at. Trying, trying with discipline to do so and be so. Lee, do not feed fish in a soiled, capped sand. All right, where are we going here? Planted aquarium. I do feed my frogs in mine with bloodworms, and I do it by hand so I don't overfeed and keep the fish out of the equation. Interesting you mentioned that, Lee. I was thinking about that just the other day, that your frogs really need food that they're going to have a hard time finding in a completely natural aquarium. If you're introducing scuds, you can get away with it, but feeding them by hand is perfect. You can feed the worms with tweezers and get it directly to them, and that'll work really well. Good job. And you didn't even need to be instructed to do that. You just figured that out all by yourself, didn't you? You were so smartly, such a clever fellow, you. I can tell. I know. Now that I can see you naked from the neck up, I can see how clever you really are. Howard. South of Paducah. I know Paducah. I went to college in Barberville, Kentucky, Union College. Was there for 4 years in southeast Appalachia, we called it down there. Appalachia. Right outside of Harlan County. H. Gibbs, I got brine shrimp hatchery, but not hatched any yet. You want to get decapsulated hatching brine shrimp. I can send them to you if you want, or you can buy them in a larger quantity from Brine Shrimp Direct. Let me give you Brine Shrimp Direct. If somebody wants to post that. Where was it? Hopkinsville. Laura's in Hopkinsville. J. Rowe, that's what I do. Make them find food. It helps keep the tank cleaner. It does, absolutely. And it keeps the fish behaving much more normally. You could actually sit there and watch them behave naturally rather than up and down against the fish when you come near them, trying to get to you to get food, begging for food. Here we go, Lumpy Dog. But, father fish. My poor fish are always hungry and begging for food. Now they need 3 square meals a day and a snack to be healthy, says Lumpy Dog. Lumpy Dog, I know you're teasing, but no, they don't. They don't. They ain't puppy dogs. And they ain't gerbils. Stop feeding your fish, guys. Stop feeding your fish. So long as the tank is providing natural food for them, and it does not provide natural food for everything. Some larger fish particularly need to have food introduced into the tank because it's difficult to do otherwise. But what you can do with larger fish is add smaller fish that they'll be able to eat net. That means buying feeders or catching feeders or otherwise providing feeders. Live food, after all. Nice, lumpy dog. Well done. Howard is in Halls. Don't know where that is. J. Rowe, 43 watching, 34 likes. Lee. No. Lumpy dog. No. Peplin is, I don't know what he's posting here. What is that? YouTube channel, something, I don't know. Oh, Logan's link. Thank you, Peplin. Balduino Neves. Hello, Balduino. Where are you from? Nebs. Balduino Nebs. Are you Italian? Where are you from, Balduino? J. Rowe. Just subscribe to Logan's. Good job. Lumpy dog. Just figured out your subby issue. For whatever reason, I'm no longer subby to you. Really? Really? I was wondering about that. Huh. So they're deleting active accounts. Those little suckers. How in the world do I get around that? Everybody check and make sure you sub to me. Please. Because something funny's going on. I'm losing more subscribers. Well, not quite. I'm losing a lot. I've lost 50 subscribers in a month. And it's happening daily. I'm losing subscribers every day. I was going to show you the link for that. Let's see if I can pull it up. YouTube Studio. Channel Analytics. Subscribers. And now, let's go back to StreamYard. Get this back up. Chrome tab. There it is. So, look at that, boys and girls. See all those below the line? That's all. That was like 6. This is the last 28 days. So almost every day. And there, I know I lost subscribers. That's a 0. Here's another 0. There's a 1. There's a 3. That's a 0. So I'm losing every single day. I'm losing subscribers. It's just like bleeding. I'm bleeding subscribers. Ain't that awful? What time is it? 10:06. Oh, thank you, Lumpy Dog, for that. We're going to ask everybody to take a look at Father Fish and make sure that you're still subscribed to me, because some people are not. Sir Father Fish. You look like you need your nose tweaking. I'll bet you scratch it any moment soon. My father used to do that. And he did it when he was teasing. He would do this kind of thing. That was his teasing. No, my father used his hands to communicate. And the reason he did that was because his parents were deaf. They had been deaf since early childhood. So he grew up signing, signing, talking to his parents, his mother and father, from the time he was little until he grew up. And in fact, later in life, he became a minister to the deaf in order to continue to support his parents and their friends. So when when my father died, I took over his work and continued it for about 12 years, 13 years, nearly 15 years. That's another long story that someday we'll go into. But for now, yes, I use my hands. I haven't in a long time. I've not been 35 years out of that work. 35 years. So thank you, Lee. I need to, Lee. There it is. That's the letter L. Lee. Lee, there he is, right there. Lee. Gotcha. Lee. Lee. Buon. Lee, I can't see the like button. It's probably because your eyes are full of tears from laughing. GB3030, do you have a number to call you? Yes, I do. Let me post it, 9412669998. And that's my store number, and anyone is welcome to call that number. And we have hit pretty close to the bottom of the page. Except all of a sudden, there are 50 more. Whoosh. Good Lord. Mary Page is here. Well, I'm 100 behind again. Half hour behind, Pebbling Creek says. Yeah, at least. Good grief. I am getting badly behind. Mary Page says, no change in the baby. Putting pressure on my daughter to make a decision is pretty rough. I know it is. Howard, sponges work fine. Use lava rock for cheap biomedia. So you need more. I use a lot of lava rock, particularly in my goldfish system. Lord, love a duck. I'm going all the way back to the top. And I've lost a chunk of stuff that just got past me. Oh dear. Patrick is talking about adding calcium. Lumpy dog. Prepared dry fish foods have too much phosphate in them. Yeah, I tend not to like prepared fish foods. I don't think they're necessarily the best thing to do for a tank. Gnarly. Had a 55 second hand with a 10-gallon sump. Was more troublesome than good. can be sponge filters for the win. I like sponge filters. Mary Page is just waking up. Lily, my father fish. Thank you for all your advice. I followed it to the letter, and now my tank is looking beautiful and the fish are thriving, as are my plants. So again, thank you for the great advice. Thank you, Lily. Lee's telling Mary to take a cold shower. You might take your own advice, Lee, and shower up your nose. Mary Page, hospital all-nighter. Dexter's doing fine. Wonderful. Menage. The way we subscribers were able, wish there was a way we could show our tanks too. Well, yeah, I agree. There is, but it means you have to make a video. Now you can use pictures. You can post pictures in your on your community page. There is a way to do that, and then once you do that, you can link them. Let's work on that a little bit so we can come up with a protocol for doing that. I think that would be really very helpful. Menage. Howard. Fish Pappy, good morning, Lou Gnarly. I'm going to go real quick through here. Psychedelic is listening to poop. Jay is asking where is Roe. Howard. Well, Lee and Roe have not been up all night because I checked Roe's page several times because she said she was going to do a live stream and she never did. So that means she got some sleep. Logan's, y'all the very best. I love this community. It is a bunch of fun people, isn't it? Lee, Mary, constantly in our thoughts. You betcha. Bawan Chandler uses cheap $20 LED shop lights that they sell in Walmart on his 120. I do too. In fact, I'm switching over now. I'm buying on Amazon. I'm buying 4-foot LED strip lights. I can get, I don't even know how many, a whole bunch of them for about $50, $60. I think 8 or more for like $60, less than $10 a piece, and they're wonderful. I love them. Oh dear. Lumpy said the baby's not tolerating his mommy's milk. Not good. Not good. Richter Belmont. Good night, Father Fish. I'm sleepy. Can't stay in your live stream. Sorry about that. Good night to you, Richter. Nice to have you with us. Lee's going to be following soon. He'll be dozing off in a moment, I'm sure. I know some comments are out of context by the time they really are. And it's hard for me to find the context. I'll tell you what would help. And some people do it and some people don't. I'm not good at it. But if those of you who are commenting will put the name of the person you're responding to in your comment, that'll help a lot to link back It'll help me link back to the original comment. Try to do that if you can. That would really be very helpful. Jumping down the line. Richter says it's 10 o'clock here. Well, it's 10 a.m. here. Lord, I'm I'm just seeing this 20 minutes later, Richter. And 2 3-foot aqua skies. I need to jump along here. I'm gonna see if. Oh, here we go. Lee's playing gotcha again. At 10:01, at note, at 10:01 a.m. ESP, Lee Wilcox of England commented, Sir Father Fish just paid me a compliment. Now I have got him. Just you wait, Sir Father Fish. James Bond villain in me coming. That ain't James Bond. That ain't James Bond. That's a villain, all right, but it ain't a James Bond villain. That's a cartoon character villain. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Redfish, bluefish. Huzzah, huzzah. Nice to see you. 15 minutes later. Oh, jumping right along. Peplin says, good morning, Teach. Speaking to your redfish, bluefish. You bet. And he is the best among us. Keeping the torch lit. Oh, Ligum's got some Geophagus cernamensis. Excellent, nice fish. A catch tiny fish is lost in chat. Aren't we all? Oh, Balduino is from Cape Verde, Africa. Where is Cape Verde? That's north. North Africa. Is that Ivory? That's not Ivory Coast. Where is that, Balduino? Africa's a big place. YouTube will unsub you from channels they perceive as being spammy. What does that mean? Spammy. Interesting. So now I'm spammy. Curious. I've had a number of, you may have something there. A number of my streams have been noted for being unsuitable for monetization, and I've appealed them, and they've all gone through. I mean, they took the limitation off. So, yeah, maybe they got me spammy. Mary Page says, great, YouTube has figured it out. Too much good stuff going on here. Yeah, probably so. Robocop says YouTube is so strict. They're not just strict. They're extraordinarily biased, even prejudiced. even bigoted. I have little or no truck with their censorious persuasion. And I'll probably get locked for that. I don't think people are unsubscribing. I think YouTube's doing it. Mary Page, still sub. Alduinos. I was overfeeding my fish until I learned from you that a hungry fish is a healthy fish. You betcha. You betcha. Pretty bad when YouTube unsubby the channels that you're a moderator, Lumpy Dog says. Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? That is weird. Lee, Swampy named his babies. They're not for eating now. Oh no. Don Watch, greetings. Sunday morning. Swampy Acres, Homestead, hello there. Lumpy Dog like a poker tail. I catch tiny fish. Hi, Swampy Acres. Good morning, Dan, says Mary Page. Lumpy Dog. Wifey is giving me that we need to get some housework done. Look, nice stream. See you all later. Cheers. Me too. I think I've hit bottom. Finally hit bottom here. Lee says, redfish, bluefish is okay, I suppose. Well, Lee is okay, I suppose. Kim Fife, hi Lee. Hi Kim. Texas Fish, good morning. Now I know how hard it is to catch plains killifish. Did you get any, Texas Fish? Gotta go to work on plants in the backyard, Garbo said, before it gets too hot. Have a good day, Garbo. I'll be on at 3 this afternoon, so we'll see you all then. Cape Verde in the Atlantic west coast of the continent, like near the Canary Islands. Are you south of the Canaries? Nice. 10 tiny islands. I catch tiny fish. What age do they keep fish? 9, 8 or 9. Lee, YouTube is bonkers. Sir Father Fish, excellent information, second to none. Funny, great subscribers, sharing information too, and fun. I'll make an advert about myself and tell YouTube to place here. Garbo Aquatics, says Kim. Texas Swampy. Wings for dinner tonight. All right, we're at the bottom. I'm sorry for what I missed or lost. We had a lot on today. Let's see how many. Oh, come on. 42, 55. We got up to 55. Pretty good. A great morning. Thank you all for plugging in. My next live is at 3 o'clock my time this afternoon. That's in 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours this afternoon. See you all then. God bless you, and see you at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I'm going to try to get my system set up so we can look at some of the tanks that we've been setting up. God bless you all. Eastern Time of USA. Yes. Texas is going to post the video. See you all later. God bless. Counting down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, See you this afternoon, everyone. God bless. Thank you.